Look at me. Look at me. Hey, how's it going? I am back and we are doing some comic reviews, my fellow Straw Hats. Now, I'm going to be talking about the last 2 weeks of comics. I picked up a day or two ago from my local comic book store. And it's all Marvel this time around. And before I get started, I just want to let you know that my comic book, Red Knight, the first volume trade paperback, is going to be available on Manos Publishing and print and digital December 7th at manospublishing.com. And if you have any questions, just let me know how to get it, and I'll take care of you. So, hey, let's start talking about the Big M. Now, let's get going here. We got Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise. Let's see. We got She-Hulk number 8. We got Thunderbolts 4. Amazing Spider-Man 14. Daredevil number 5. And X-Men number 17. Ooh, 17. We're getting crazy. Time to renumber. Alright, so hey, I'm not a big Doctor Strange guy. He's always been kind of aloof to me. But, matter of fact, his films are, well, at least the first film, I'm not a huge fan of. And he's always a character that's, I don't know, he's better as a supporting character in some big event or something like that. But, hey, I love Tradd Moore's work. And you put him on Doctor Strange, and I am sold. Ironically, I picked up the issue with the Peach Momoko cover, which I actually thought was oddly enough better. I don't know. This cover just is fantastic. Peach Momoko needs to do a Doctor Strange book. Hire her for Sandman. Get Neil Gaiman on the phone, and we'll do that. Or let's see. Anyway. Moore is the writer and artist of this issue, and we start off kind of in a mystery of sorts, because I am aware that Doctor Strange had recently died in one of those weird time distortion spell thingies, so he was dead and not dead, but he kind of, it seems like he wakes up in this, like, other universe, one of those kind of universes he's very used to traveling through. And look at this panel count on this. Holy crap. I love it when artists do this and just go completely apeshit with the amount of panels on a page. And it's just gorgeous as he kind of like makes his way through. And I just can't say enough about how amazing this looks. And, there's actually only a little plot as he makes his way through. He finds these kind of like mythic deer creatures that help lead him through until he gets, I believe, captured at the end here, where the plot starts kicking in. But I don't care. I mean, him wandering around here in this gorgeous, like, look at that, like, art. It's just absolutely amazing. And let's see. And then he's taken captured at the end. Then we're going to kind of kick in. This is a miniseries. Not sure how long a miniseries this is. I don't care. This is fun. I'm sold. Gorgeous. If you're a Tradd Moore fan or interested in seeing kind of like that really spectacular psychedelic Steve Ditko style Doctor Strange, pick this up. Holy crap. This is really good. And, while I said it's a little thin on plot, it's not, completely plotless or anything like that. So don't get me wrong. It's one of those kind of slow first issues that kind of like slowly pieces together what's going on, but we're treated with eye candy all the way through. So really enjoyed it. 5 gram chips. All right, now let's go to She-Hulk number 8. And this is from Rainbow Rowell, and let's see, it's a different artist on this. It's let's see, Toshigi Mazawi is doing the art here. Excuse me if I get that name incorrect. But, hey, She-Hulk actually isn't in this issue, and we do kind of a flashback to the backstory of these villains that had kind of been in the background of this story arc so far. We have these 2 scientists, and let's see, April and Mark. They popped up earlier randomly, where you thought, who the hell are these characters? And it's this woman with this big head and her husband, who's kind of like a Hulk-like guy, but he's Caucasian. He doesn't have any like green tint to his body. Anyway, they kind of attacked She-Hulk a couple of issues ago, and then last issue she was like, what was that about? She looks them up, and she's apparently captured by them. Now we flash back to their history, and apparently there were two scientists who were thinking like, hey, all these superheroes with these great powers kind of stupidly got them by accident, maybe don't deserve it. Like, maybe if we plan, maybe we could have these powers. And it goes right for a minute, where they become, proper, good-looking, sexy Hulks. And that didn't last longer than 2 minutes, where he becomes more savage and beast-like. And she, her head grows, she becomes more like the leader. And her head is just swimming in thoughts that are just, constantly going 1,000 miles a minute. And you know what? If you've had one of those nights where you can't sleep, you know how terrible that can be. But that's her all the time, apparently. So that must be not fun for both of them. Anyway, that leads us to kind of like their backstory and like what they're going to do next. And they decide that, maybe if we get some of her DNA, like some of her blood, we capture her, maybe we can figure out a way to control it a little bit, because she controls it just fine. So that's kind of what leads us into next issue. Holy crap, this was really cool, and this was nicely folded into the arc so far. And the art's really nice. It's a little bit different. It's purposely different than what we've been seeing in the series thus far, and I think that was actually a nice choice. That's a good way of using fill-in artists or guest artists, is tell a different side of the story and use that to kind of inform the feeling of it. 5 out of 5 Ram Chips, even with no She-Hulk. Amazing. All right, let's jump to Thunderbolts, number 4, and this is from Jim Zub. And who's doing the art on this one? I keep forgetting the artist on this book. The artist is Sean Izaakse with Netho Diaz. And by the way, I'm going to say it right now. I dig their art. I'm not familiar with their work, but they have a big, I don't know which one, or maybe they both together have this kind of look, but they both remind me a lot of Mark Bagley, which is a good thing to me. And that kind of style, that kind of classic superhero look, really, I don't know, that's always appealing to me. And it's really appealing for this book, which is kind of more of a Justice League International type of sort of humorous book, but not all the way into full-blown comedy. But let's see, it starts off normal enough with the purple, I forgot her name, Enticement or something like that. Anyway, she's on a talk show doing an interview, and we cut to Hawkeye watching that. And he and Bobby are back together, and there he's interrupted by a special call, and we got the same usual Marvel type of villains show up, and they fight the Thunderbolts, who are kind of dressed a little bit more like classic Avengers. I love Guts and Glory is straight up Cable. That's pretty funny. And let's see, Monica is in her old Captain Marvel suit, and America is dressed up like I think that was Miss America or something like that, because she is sort of that lineage. Anyway, you think, hey, their costumes keep changing during the scene. It's obviously a dream sequence, right? And you'd be right, because we get deeper and deeper into his emotional state and his kind of self-doubt and self-hatred of himself about his failings and such like that. And then we get to the end where, let's see, the government liaison, Helen, shows up to his room. He goes, where the hell have you been, man? And he is like this. So he's in some kind of a catatonic state, floating above the bed, so that's never good. So he's being kind of attacked from within. So neat. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 Ram Chips. Not too bad. Not not too bad. It's pretty good. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 ram chips. All right, now we go to Amazing Spider-Man 14. This is the lead up to Dark Web. Oh no. This is from Zeb Wells, and let's see, Michael Dowling and Richard Asanov are doing the art. And very similar to the She-Hulk issue, actually, where we get a flashback into a couple who are villains. Actually, yeah, it's funny. This issue and She-Hulk are very much similar, and I think that's kind of a coincidence. But anyway, this one's nicely framed because it kind of deals with the way Ben Reilly has been for the last, I don't know, year or so. We get chapters, headed up by spring, summer, fall. There are different artists who work on each chapter, which is nice. And we kind of see him and Janie. Let's see, is it Janie as his girlfriend? What is her name? Damn. Him and girlfriend character. Let's see, her name is... Man, I'm spending way too much time looking for it. Anyway, they are kind of like going about trying to figure things out, and that leads them to none other than Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen. And that didn't turn out well. So, anyway, Madeline... By the way, Terry Dotson does this wonderful chapter. Anyway, let's see, he has become this Chasm character, which I really... I hate that name. That's not a great name. That's not a great superhero or villain name, Chasm. The costume is meh. It works as a super villain Spider-Man, though. Anyway, Goblin Queen also turns her into this cool thing, Hallows Eve. See, that's a good name. I like that name, Hallows Eve. And it's a better look. I mean, she's okay. She's already topping this guy as far as, like, costume and name. Has kind of a hobgoblin look to it, which is really cool. She has this interesting thing where she kind of forms a face and it comes a mask several times over. Not quite sure what her powers are, but that looks kind of intimidating. So anyway, it kind of leads up to what they're going to be doing. They're going to be kind of like working together, and it looks like they're going to be the villains of this Dark Web thing that's coming up. I'm not too sure on what the premise of the event is, but okay, let's do it. Looks like you got a thing you're cooking up there, Zeb Wells. Let's go. I know Miss Marvel's going to be involved in this and the X-Men, so okay, all right. I think this is an event. It's not clones and it's not parallel universe, so great. I'm sold. Let's go. I'm going to give this 4 to 5 ram chips. So, all right, now we go back to Daredevil. One book with no events and crazy shit. All right, this is issue 5 by Chip Zdarsky. And let's see, Rafael De La Torre is doing the art on this one. And this is more of our characters kind of like putting things together. He and Elektra have gotten married on top of the mountain. And you see, the plan to attack the Hand involves getting a whole bunch of recruitments. And they go to that prison that was involved in the Civil War nonsense. Because actually Matt has some experience with that prison. So, anyway, they go and break out a bunch of, possible villains that Matt feels like are redemptive. And they're head off by none other than U.S. Agent and his crew, which leads to a really cool drag-down fight between Matt Murdock and U.S. Agent, which is rather nice. There's really nice exchanges between the two. I won't really... let that... I'll let you read that yourself. But I think that's kind of nicely done. But hey, that also runs into that guy Goldie that we ran into a few issues ago, who claims to have been controlling from afar Matt's life. And one more thing, the Avengers noticed this. So they're like, well, we're going to obviously do something about this. He broke into the super prison and... released a whole bunch of supervillains. I think we're going to do something about that. So that's going to bring in the Avengers on this. So not too bad. I'm going to give this a strong 4 out of 5 ram chips. Pretty good issue, I thought. And we're at the end, my friend. We're talking about X-Men number 17 by Jerry Duggan And let's see, who's doing the art? Jerry Duggan and Joshua Cassara is doing the art. Now, last we left, let's see, the Children of the Vault are threatening to escape, and they're super powerful, and we've already seen what they could possibly do if they are able to get out. And they're being kind of like stuck in this kind of bullshit illusion where they think they've already won. While they've been doing that, they let Forge sneak in with this costume or armor made of the DNA of several different mutants, which is an interesting idea. And Caliban is one of the mutants used, and he actually shows his face develops, and he starts talking like he is the real Caliban. And they have an interesting back and forth as they go through. And they actually discover on the way to try. The goal is to try and break out. It is Darwin. Thank you. Good Lord. I keep confusing him with another character. Anyway, he is. While he's looking for Darwin, he runs into the other body of the Laura Kinney Wolverine, who is not dead, apparently. We thought she was dead. We thought she got killed, and she didn't get killed, but she still got resurrected. So there's like two now, and he's like, maybe I should just leave this well alone. And the Caliban part of his armor says, no, this is wrong. She's being like, kept here and possibly tortured. We should take her. We should free her. But let's see. He does have this meeting with Darwin, and he discovers that Darwin has kind of like the time moves differently in this vault, and his body is wasted away, and he's become this digital being, and he is becoming more enlightened and like really feel like he's evolving as a person, and he decides to stay, and like he thanks Forge for all the effort, but like he says he is fine right now, and I will get back to you on this. So yeah, he brings back the Laura that sort of died in the vault, and she has she reunites with Synch, who tragically fell in love with her during their time in the vault, and she died, and when she was resurrected, she didn't remember their time together. And this Wolverine does. So, okay. We have like two Laura Kinneys now hanging around, and that's actually something that I wondered sometimes. Where, like, when characters die, they don't get incinerated all the time. They sometimes die, of like bullet wounds or something. Stuff we've seen in previous stories in Marvel and DC, get resurrected from. Like, well, what happens if you resurrect that body? Well, looks like we're getting the answer to that question, or at least the question is starting to be addressed now. This is really good. X-Men, I don't know, even after Jonathan Hickman leaving, is still really great. I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 Ram Chips. Definitely read this arc together. It really feels more exact when you do that. So, hey, that was me reading comics and stuff like that. What did you read the last couple of weeks? What you think of these comics? Did you read them? Let me know in the comments below. You can hit the notification bell for all things Manos. You can find me at Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, Patreon. You can support this channel at $1 a month. And for the time being, I'm at Twitter, as long as that lasts. So I think we're finished here. And don't forget, like I mentioned, Red Knight Volume 1, Night Without a Sword, is going to be available December 7th. I'll keep talking to you about that. All right. Push the button, Lindsay.